We previously discussed first angle projection from a given isometric view. Now, we are working on a third angle projection problem. I recommend watching the first angle projection method video before or after this one to understand the differences between the two systems. Now, let's move to this problem. Step 1. Draw construction lines. First, draw a horizontal line across your sheet. This horizontal line serves two purposes. In the negative direction, to the left, it represents the x-axis, guiding the width of both the front view and the top view. In the positive direction, to the right, it represents the y-axis, guiding the depth of the right side view, since in third angle projection, the right side view is placed on the right side of the front view. This is different from first angle projection. Check the previous video to see the difference. Next, draw a vertical line for our z-axis. This vertical line also serves two purposes. In the positive direction, upward, it represents the y-axis, guiding the depth of the top view and the right side view. In the negative direction, downward, it represents the z-axis, guiding the height of the front view. Since in third angle projection, the top view is placed above the front view. These lines are not part of the final drawing. They are just light guide lines to help us position everything correctly. Draw them lightly, use a very faint line. Step 2. Draw maximum rectangles. To prepare our layout, we need to create a maximum size rectangle for each view. First, draw the front view rectangle, 70 by 45. Next, draw the top view rectangle, 60 by 70. Finally, draw the side view rectangle, 60 by 45. Step 3. Begin projecting. Now our third angle layout is set up, and we can begin projecting the details from our isometric drawing into each view. Let's start with the front view. Now it's easy. The planes on the x-z axis are visible from the front. Now, let's identify the planes. We have two planes on the x-z axis, plane Q and plane E. Since they lie on the x-z plane, they are visible from the front. So, we draw them on the front view using solid lines. After that, we have one more plane on the x-z axis, plane M. However, between the observer and plane M, there is plane E. Plane E shields plane M from view. So, plane M is not directly visible from the front. Therefore, we must show plane M using a hidden, dashed, line on the front view. Next, let's move to the side view. For the side view, the common axis with the front view is the z-axis, which is the height direction. So, we do not need to measure height information again, we already have it from the front view. We simply project horizontal lines from the front view into the side view area. These lines give us the height dimension for each plane. But first, we need to divide the side view maximum rectangle in half. Why? Because the hole in the front view is centered along the y-axis, depth. Finding this center will help us position the hole correctly at the top center of the side view maximum rectangle. So, find the center first, then project the horizontal lines from the front view. Visible planes in the side view. Now, remember, the planes on the YZ axis are visible from this direction. So, let's check which planes lie on the YZ axis. We see a plane K with dimensions 20 units on the Z-axis and 40 units on the Y-axis. This plane is visible and is located at the bottom center of the side view maximum rectangle. At the same time, there are two additional planes, one on each side of plane K. These planes are also on the YZ axis, so they are visible from the side view. Drawing the upper hole. Now, we have a hole at the upper end. This hole has 15 units on the Z-axis, height. 20 units on the Y-axis, depth. Position this hole at the upper center inside the side view maximum rectangle. Final step. After drawing the hole, darken all remaining visible lines with bold strokes. Now we have completed the side view with all visible features. Finally, let's move to the top view. And here's the good news, you don't need to measure anything new. Why? Because the front view already gives us the width, x-axis, and the side view already gives us the depth, y-axis. So all we have to do is project what we already have. Draw the 45-degree line. To transfer depth from the side view to the top view, we use a standard projection technique, the 45-degree line. Place this line to the right of the top view area, above the side view area. Now, let's project the lines. From the side view, project vertical lines upward. These carry the depth, y-axis, for each plane. From the front view, project vertical lines to the upward. These carry the width, x-axis, for each plane. The vertical lines from the front view go straight across into the top view area, no problem. But the vertical lines from the side view cannot go straight up. Instead, they first go to the 45-degree line. Once they hit it, they bend and change direction, moving horizontally into the top view area. Now, where the projected lines cross, we get the exact positions for each feature. At these intersection points, we draw the features of the top view. All these features lie on the XY plane. And as we know, any plane on the XY axis is visible from the top view. So, we draw those using solid lines. Now, let's look at plane K from the top view. Plane K lies on the YZ plane. But the top view only shows the XY plane. So, from the top view, plane K becomes just a line, because the Z-axis information is not visible. Only the Y-axis remains. The two planes on either side of plane K also become lines for the same reason. We get the positions of these lines by projecting. From the front view gives the lines' positions. From the side view gives the plane boundaries. Drawing the whole section. As we can see, these planes appear as lines in the top view. Plane O. Next, we have plane O, the whole section. The width of the whole comes from the side view. So, we project vertical lines from the side view into the top view area. The depth of the whole comes from the front view. Specifically, it is the length of the hidden line shown in the front view. So, we project vertical lines from both ends of that hidden line into the top view area. After this projection, we get a rectangular area where the projected lines cross each other. Make that area bold. Drawing the side planes of the whole. The last feature in the top view is the side planes of the whole portion. As before. Project lines from the side view. These give the y-axis dimension. Project vertical lines from the front view. These give the x-axis position for that feature. The top view requires lines on both the x-axis and y-axis. The combination of these projections gives us two planes on the xy plane. Make them bold. Final step. Now, clean up all construction and projection lines. And we're done. You've successfully drawn all three orthographic views using third angle projection. If this helped, please like and subscribe. See you in the next one.